Hello and welcome back to the Guiding Keys podcast. It has once again been a while because we are the most inconsistent idiots on the face of the internet, but we're back with Kingdom Hearts news!
Finally, thank God.
We have news!
Local YouTuber Dax has created a funeral service for Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, which is now just Kingdom Hearts Missing.
Yeah, so we've got two different sets of news, good and bad. So let's start with the bad news. Missing Link is dead.
First, 07.
Let's introduce everybody first.
Yeah.
You're skipping
yes,
a whole
of course.
step here.
Yes, of course.
How dare
Forgive
you,
me.
Matrix.
Forgive me. We have 6 people here today. It's me, Finn, Dolan, and Clark as usual, and we are joined by DJ and Aura. So y'all two say hi.
Hello.
Where's my dad?
What the
We put him in the basement so you wouldn't
Which would not
lose
the
him. Did you
father.
lose him
I'm
again?
open.
He said he went to go get missing Link.
He ain't never coming back. Okay, so Missing Link is dead.
Yes. Yeah. It will.
R.I.P. Missing Link.
Well, at the very
You will be
least,
missed.
is dead currently.
Yeah, so Kingdom Hearts Missing Link has officially been canceled. Pour one out for Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Rest in peace. We don't know what's gonna happen to the assets in this game. Some of which are being leaked out. We have seen some of them. We're not gonna discuss them here.
Mm-mm.
We don't want the mouse ninjas to destroy us.
And
Discuss what?
exactly. And also, too, some of us are of the mind that because Nomura, it can be a little petty. Where this Missing Link, the game may in fact be dead, but I don't think that's the end of Missing Link. I think we're definitely going to be seeing a back cover movie, a manga, a 02 game style,
Light
we're gonna be seeing
novel.
something, a light
Yeah,
novel, a
something like
hard novel.
The narrative will
Soft
come
novel.
back in some way, shape, or form, whatever that may be. I think from what little we did know about it, from like the quests that were in the beta and the like just kind of the story synopsis that we got from Nomura, it seems like it would be very important. So I have a feeling they're gonna be integrating it into something at some point, whatever that may be.
I can see personally, and I know Latrix of this mind, is that a lot of the important bits that we need to know for Missing Link for Kingdom Hearts 4 are going to implement it in Kingdom Hearts 4, but I do think that Missing Link's plan was to also set up the next game as well, because obviously a live service game will continue on past a single player experience game. So I in my brain, they're setting up. They're working on Kingdom Hearts 4 now. Full team's focused right on it. And then once Kingdom Hearts 4 is done, they're going to finish up whatever they have for Missing Link. Be like, okay, be it movie, whatever they want to do, direct the DVD video with the Disney Channel beginning. Get that set up, ready to go. Send that out, and then that will cover everything that we should know if we were able to play the game as intended. And then from there, we'll have our Missing Link, as it were. Yeah, we'll have that in a different fashion. I do not think it's going to come back as an iOS game. I think the live service GPS iOS game, they put too much money in development on it, and they were like, well, shit.
Yeah. So let's actually maybe go around the room and talk about what
the fuck
we
is you guys
think.
in my room.
Let's go around the room and maybe talk about what we think might become of Missing Link, if anything. Because you're right, I do think that the chances of really any Kingdom Hearts mobile game coming back are slim to none. And I think the
Yeah.
reason why is because of Square Enix's big restructuring that they're going through, that they just reaffirmed. And they said they're focusing on quality over quantity and doubling down on bigger experiences. So I think the era of Kingdom Hearts Mobile is dead.
And honestly, it kind of feels like the majority of their of Square Enix's mobile division seems pretty dire, as it were. So I think this may be the end of a lot of Square Enix mobile games.
I agree, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm sorry, but and nothing of value was lost. Okay.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right, so we're looking for replacements for Forge Master. Please put your subscription thing below. We do
Subscription?
require subscriptions. Yeah, we do require you to subscribe to the channel for us to nominate you as Forge Master. We also require your bank account and your social security number. Thank you.
And don't forget the
Well,
last 4 digits on the back.
Yeah.
What?
Many
No.
numbers
4
on the
digits. Man, I'm too fucking poor. I only got 3.
3, 4, it depends. Anyway,
Epic gamer number.
Forgemaster Latrix
Yeah.
from a different dimension must be unreality.
anyway, what I mean by that is, I think, I mean, let's be real here. How many Kingdom Hearts fans were really thrilled about the idea that critical series lore was being, divulged through mobile games? Please raise your hand if you just love that.
I just
I
love Kingdom Hearts
am-
lore. I didn't care about where it was delivered, but I will say I would much prefer it to be in a back-covered movie or manga as opposed to a mobile game, particularly because the mobile game's ability to be shut down.
Exactly.
That is my main thing, is the ability to lose the information. Now, I, as I've said many a time, am immune to the gacha, so that doesn't bother me any because I just simply do not. But yeah, the fact that the game itself, like the only reason why I can sit here and crack open Union Cross on my phone right now is because I refuse to delete it off my phone because you'll lose it. No one is able to download it again. Period.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Now-
That's
Especially
that's,
not your old save data, because that was linked to like your Facebook stuff. So if you try
Yeah.
to download it on a different device, it's just you have to start over, and it kind of sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I will say this, and this is maybe the one point of contention that I haven't heard anybody bring up yet, because we're all under the assumption, I think it's fair that we're all under the assumption that this game was going to be vitally important. But let me make a counter argument. If they were willing to halt development and cancel the game, is it possible that this game may not have been as important as we were assuming it was, if even Nomura was seemingly...
I think this is more of a case of in Latrix, you've been a proponent of this, saying that, I think this is more of a case of like Birth by Sleep leading into Kingdom Hearts 1, right? And I know, Latrix, you've been a proponent of playing them in chronological order as opposed to release order. So I think this was the case, is that
I
Missing
saw
Link
that.
lore rolls into Kingdom Hearts 4 lore. And that was the thing, is that there was information there that we were able to put the pieces together, line the pieces up, yours and mine, in
Lord.
Kingdom Hearts 4. But I think they wanted it to be in that order, but they realized, one, it's being canceled, so we've got to shift our focus. So therefore, we will more than likely be getting it in the reverse order, like how we didn't get Birth by Sleep.
A
until
reverse
after.
rebirth order?
Exactly. We're putting all the buzzwords in, people. Keep subscribing, liking, and ringing that bell.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus Christ.
So for me, I don't think that would be the case, because canceling the game doesn't mean scrapping the story.
Mhm.
Because whatever they do with it, whether it's in Kingdom Hearts 4 or whether they make something else, whatever it is down the line, that doesn't, just because they canceled the game doesn't mean that will never exist.
I agree, but I also think that a lot of what would have been Missing Link probably will just be lost, and I think it will be condensed down to just the essentials.
I agree. Like, we're not going to get those smaller NPCs that show up and everything. We may not get all of the fun lore and everything that we wanted to know of every character. We're definitely not going to get the character creation. Sorry, people who wanted their OCs and
I
in
am
there.
going to go ballistic.
Yeah, honestly, if anything, that's probably the biggest loss in my opinion.
It really is.
A character
Yeah.
creator that is a 3D model in the Kingdom Hearts style, there is nowhere else we could get that. The last character creator we had looked like a fucking kid's art project.
I had fun with it. I've
Well,
got a BB
It was
head.
fun, don't get me wrong.
up 0.2, I guess.
We were about to usher in a whole new wave of KHOCs that will now never see the light of day, and that is a
No.
tragedy.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
for
is-
all.
Shout out to the KHOC server. They were
DJ.
devastated when they saw the news.
DJ, what you got?
So I'm gonna put in my 0.2 cents in here, right? So
Yeah.
this is how I think about it, and this is the more realistic fact of it. Square Enix's mobile division completely has gone through what I like to call a manic episode on how all these games that have been running along for years are just dying left and right.
Oh yeah.
Starting with Brave Exvius, to the point where even trying to find any of its normal data from the sprites are completely gone. With a cease and desist from non-paid servers. Now to War of the Visions being gone. And now, of course, we have Missing Link. And I feel like their cash cow, which is right now Final Fantasy VII, once again, they're putting all of their top people onto these games, and as like we discussed, Kingdom Hearts 4, and all that stuff that was just released. I feel like, I'm sorry, if people don't I don't know if when everybody got their copy of Kingdom Hearts 3, did anybody actually press the button to see what happened prior to?
I had already
I-
watched them on
I-
YouTube, so
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I pressed the button to see what it was about,
I-
but that was it.
because they
I
had released those
feel
videos
like-
on YouTube.
yeah, I feel like if we don't get a movie or we don't get something, an attachment to this, because I feel like in order for Square Enix and Disney to both get more money out of us, we might get another Continuum all-in-one disc that's going to give us stuff from Union Key. Oh my god, what's
Dark
the other
Road,
name?
Road.
Dark Road.
Dark Road.
Road.
And Missing Link.
I mean,
I-
that makes sense because
Well,
Union
it's-
Cross and less so Dark Road. It depends on whether or not you subscribe to the theory that Xehanort's reincarnated in Queldratum. But definitely Union Cross and Missing Link. They are all setups for the Lost Master Saga, and I agree. That's probably the more viable option. Is that we'll get a all-in-one final mix with those three.
But however, if they don't go that route, something tells me that we're gonna get majority of the story of Missing Link in these long, dragged out cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Honestly, I hate to say it, but I think that's probably the more likely option.
Maybe we'll
could
see.
be.
And it's gonna be
I
one of those
really
things where it's
hope-
like it's like why did this happen? And it's like, well, long ago. And then like at the beginning, like for all of us, like, oh my god, Kingdom Hearts lore, we're gonna sit there, we're gonna watch it. But majority of us that are into the character building or speed running or whatever, after a while, you don't want to watch those cutscenes anymore. And you're gonna end up pressing start, skip scene, until next thing you know, it's like, all right, cool. How are we gonna just skip this all together? How are we gonna remove cutscenes? How are we gonna do X, Y, Z? And I just feel like either way, Square Enix, with the way how Nomura works, we're gonna get something, and then all of our theory crafters, all of our lore masters are gonna be like, well, in this part they said this, which links to this, which traverses to this, which manipulates this, and then we're like, all right, cool. So I'm just gonna wait for the YouTube video to come out, and I'm just gonna watch it in one sitting. Like,
and you got to remember though, is that when a game developer makes a game, unless they're specifically making a speedrunning game, that's the 1% of people that they're not pandering to, as it were. Yeah, they are like, Nomura knows that people enjoy the story of Kingdom Hearts and everything. That's the part that he's going to push forward towards. So that's going to be the we're very well of Final Fantasy 13 versus 13, but he's a lore guy first, right? And that being said, it's like, I think it's absolutely viable of all of it with his thought process of like, hey, we have this lore that's important to the story, or just lore in general that he wanted to share, because at the end of the day, it is his story to share. Him and his team, I guess you should say. It's not just him. He wants to share that, so he'll put it in and everything. Whether that's a detriment to the speedrunning community or not, unfortunately, that's not their initial thing. Now, I will have to say, as someone who doesn't do the Kingdom Hearts OC thing as much as everybody else does, to which I feel like the way my Discord is set up, I'm literally in the center of all you guys of this, so I'm going to say my words carefully, but really, I do think that the character creation part of it was probably the most detrimental part to lose, because that is also a huge facet of the Kingdom Hearts fandom, more so than the speedrunner community, in my personal opinion, is that I'll see an OC 10 times before I see a speedrun, but I'm also not looking out for the speedrun, so maybe I'm weird of that.
Well, let's just be real here, and because we're all talking about what they might do, what they might not do, who's going to be pleased, who's not going to be pleased. Let's be 100%. Let's be 100% honest here. Whatever they do, somebody's not going to be happy about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Once more, we probably should have led with this, but we're not game designers. We're not game devs. Finn here missed his weekly visit to the Square Enix headquarters, so he doesn't have any info for us.
Fired me.
But no, we don't know anything more than the average fan. We may know a little bit more than the average fan because we also sit here and look at these screenshots for way too long. But other than that, like we have no insight. I mean, we work 9 to 5s. We're not. Dolan knows more about the code of Kingdom Hearts than probably anybody I know, but that's about it.
Nerd.
Oh, God.
Nerd.
And everybody, make sure to put it into the comments below about how much DJ's the biggest nerd, and then we'll have a fight to the death to see who's the biggest nerd at the end of it.
Dolan.
It's me. It's me.
Link picks out of nowhere with the metal chair.
With the steel pipe. Don't play the sound.
No.
It's fine. You can mute him individually now.
But
you can just right-click him and mute the soundboard. It's amazing.
But no, in all seriousness, the fact that the mobile game is canceled means however they deliver this story, it is not going to be in the method that they originally intended it to be.
100%.
And due to that fact, whatever they do, somebody's not going to be happy about it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
you gotta think
no
about it this way
clean way.
too. You gotta think about it this way too, because they had playable betas that not everybody got the chance to play, right?
Nope.
No.
And we got files, or maybe I don't know how data mining works, but people saw stuff that they really liked, and we are not getting that anymore. Which, holy
Once
crap,
again, we
I
know-
get it.
Yeah, there were
with all the
cutscenes in
leaks-
the betas.
Yeah. With all the stuff with the leaks
Yeah.
and the betas and everything, we don't know what they're going to be doing with that forward, right? That's they could what's that Final Fantasy 15 movie called?
Kingslave.
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 They could. I'm glad everyone else but me knew that name. I played the shit out of Final Fantasy Road Trip, and I had a lot of fun.
Well,
Never saw the movie.
Yeah, speaking of that, because there were several Final Fantasy 15 like side things. There was Kingslave. There was the YouTube anime that they did. I forgot
They
what it
did
was
a
called.
YouTube anime?
Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah.
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood. Yes, it was like
side by side beat 'em up.
Oh, and Aura has a good point. We never
Yeah.
did get a US beta.
And, they
No, we did
had-
not.
They had King's Knight.
Yeah, but
They
still,
remade King's Knight.
but still, they have we could get something along the lines of that because they do have all the 3D models and everything. And I personally won't be entirely upset. I would have much rather probably played the game 100%. I would have also much rather play a game that is Sans live service because I know a lot of
Sans?
people want the it's Sans Megalovania, but is that lacks because I dislike live service games. I can't play an MMO. My brain stops after a week and I move on to something else. But if it's a single player experience game, I would enjoy that. But once more, I mean, at the end of the day, Square Enix, Nomura and his team and everything can be about making a good story. Square Enix is about making that cash flow, that money.
Yeah.
So, whatever makes them the most amount of money in the long run with the least amount of money put into it is really the end. It's really Square Enix's end goal of anything. And I mean, that's just how you run a business, as much as I hate to say it and everything. But that is, unfortunately, capitalism, baby. But, that's why in my theory of how it worked is that because knowing from leaks and from how much they were working on it and everything, is that I don't think that the cancellation was something that the Nomura's team wanted by any stretch of imagination.
Well,
They
obviously.
they didn't string us
Yeah.
along
And-
for nothing. I think they pushed back against it as much as they could till they ran out of time. Till it's like, now,
Yeah.
Which is
I
Probably why
think
we
I think
get a lot of
the whether sorry, I think regardless of how long they've been
Words.
considering it,
or is
Yeah.
cooking in the corner here. It's very funny.
regardless of how long they've been considering it, I think the final nail in the coffin, whatever it was very recent. I think
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
even it was it November, December, we got the announcement of the delay, which
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of saw coming at that point, but it was like,
Mhm.
okay, cool, just
At least they
cook it up
said
more.
something, right?
And-
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
And
they-
radio
there
silence
was
for 7 months.
yeah. Well, beyond that, there wasn't any indication about it not coming in any way, really.
Yeah, we had pre-registration soon. We had, like I said,
Yeah, so
beta stuff
see,
planned.
that's the crazy thing is because the first time that pre-registration soon thing was, or it was it said like you can pre-register now on those freaking like wafer packets that came with the cards, and those released in
Yeah.
like May of last year. So it's like whatever happened, this game was far along.
Which is
Yeah.
why I sit here and I say I don't want to sit here and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna get a spin-off title that's Missing Link. It's a console game that's going to happen after Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm not saying that with any OC at all. I'm only going to sit here and say is that we're going to see something given as much work as they put towards this game. And I know Aura's been steaming over here in the corner about Final Fantasy Versus 13, But as we all know, Nomura, as much as he wants to claim otherwise, is extremely petty about that game. About
He
it,
does
you know, about
not
it
like to let things go.
the man's putting it in Kingdom Hearts because he said, "This is my project. You ain't moving me from it." You know, like, you know, he's petty about it and everything. So I'm sitting here looking at all the stuff that is publicly known, all the stuff that's not publicly known, a sandwich over here in the corner that's publicly known, all this information that we have. Missing Link will not come out before Kingdom Hearts 4, but we're going to be getting something from it.
They'll do something with it. but I
Knowing
don't know what that
Nomura, he's going to make like a Kingdom Hearts relink or some shit like that.
Yeah. Which is why, which is why I sit here and I wasn't nearly as upset when the news came out. I was like, damn it, you know, I was really looking forward to the story and everything. And then I'm sitting here, it's like, it's Nomura. We're not going to go without this story. You know, it's like it's going to come back in a different form, and that's perfectly fine by me. You know, that's where my brain went almost immediately. It's like, damn, we'll get it eventually. It's fine. You know, they're working on Kingdom Hearts 4 now. They shift priorities, and that's how my mentality worked.
Yeah, I want to go back to what DJ said when he was talking about how like all the other Square Enix mobile games are getting shut down. And he's right. Pretty much all of them are down. There's only like one left, and that's Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis.
I think there's or at least in Jared's latest video about there is a GPS game that is Japan only of Dragon Quest.
Oh yeah, Dragon Quest Go.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But once more,
Or Dragon Quest Walk. Dragon Quest Walk.
To go with the whole GPS thing, I think the only reason why that is successful is one, Dragon Quest is way more popular in Japan than it is anywhere else in the world.
Japan likes GPS games a lot more than the West does.
I was gonna say
also
Japan
more
is big on
viable
mobile
for that.
games.
It's the GPS system is way more viable than Japan than it is like. I live in the southern United States.
We do not have walkable cities.
Around. Yeah. It's like no, you drive
Our
places.
cities
New
are not
York is
safe.
probably like New York. All right, I can see people walking around there because I've watched the Predator, or Predators. Predator
What?
2.
Oh,
I've seen Law and Order.
No, wrong Predator, DJ. Get off that. I'm talking about the now Disney owned Predator. But no, like very very few major cities in America are designed, and really in a lot of different places, are designed to be as GPS friendly as Japan is.
Yeah, we
like I
don't
said,
we don't have walkable cities here, really.
When I got Pokemon Go when it first came out and everything, I had to drive at least 20 miles before I got to a Pokestop.
Okay,
You know,
it's never been that bad for me.
You must be in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, dude.
Yeah. No, like, you know,
as-
it's not viable for me at all. So it's like, that's why I wasn't too terribly worried about the gacha part of things, because it's like, I'm not going anywhere, so it's not gonna matter to me. But you know,
but
yes.
my other thing I was gonna say was, realistically, with all these mobile games getting shut down and Square Enix seemingly, shuttering their mobile division anyway, I mean, okay, sure, we have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis and we have Dragon Quest Walk in Japan, but like realistically speaking, how long before those two, bite the bullet?
Yeah.
Question. That's one of those things where it's like at least I don't know how much money those make. So like, if they're like self-sustainable as they are currently?
I looked up before, in the average mobile game, just in general, right? Not talking about your Spiders Georges of Candy Crush and stuff like that, lasts about 3 years. That's
Okay.
the average lifespan of a mobile game.
I'm surprised Genshin and all the other Hoyoverse games are like, as
Well,
long-lasting as they are.
It's
Well,
because they're not mobile exclusive.
Yeah,
That's
that
true.
helps out a ton, and also people like waifus.
Yeah, that's also true. That is also true.
What
Me
one thing I
sitting in the
did.
corner. What?
No, one thing I did want to touch on with just the whole cancellation situation in general is like,
Nice rhyme.
I think I think everyone can agree that like, regardless of what you thought about the game, it getting canceled kind of sucks in
Absolutely.
a lot of
Yeah.
different ways. It's just
Yeah.
unfortunate because the dev team put a shit ton of work into it. Again, this game has been in development for several years, and
Mhm.
as far as we could tell, was pretty close to release. And I think, although it is unfortunate, I do think, considering how the Kingdom Hearts fandom really is not a fan of the fact that important story has been put on mobile games.
Right.
I think this could, in the long run, be a good sign for
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts' narrative going forward,
I agree.
because they did it with Union Cross, and I feel like people were very vocal about the fact that they did not like that important story was on that game. They tried to do it again with Missing Link, and ultimately decided that it would not be a sustainable thing, or at least that's what they told us.
Yeah, and even they did it with Dark Road, and it felt even more rushed in a sense.
Oh yeah. So this is I think at the moment I wouldn't say we're at a point where we could say that like, oh, the side games as a whole are coming to an end. I think it's more so going to be, at least as of right now, sorry, my brain is brain farting. I think we can assume that for now that side games will probably still be a thing at some point, because we don't have really have evidence to suggest otherwise, but they will continue to be console games instead of mobile games again.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, so
yeah.
we do have other things we want to get to talk about. You know, the good news. Let's get to the good news. But first,
God.
I do know DJ had thoughts that he wanted to share, so I'm gonna let
DJ
him.
and Aura both had thoughts. Do we want to hit Aura's thoughts first, or and let DJ move us into 4, or?
Yeah, Aura,
Yeah.
did you have anything?
About Missing Link?
Yeah,
Yes.
just real quick.
I mean, it's disappointing the game got canceled, but I have hope it'll come back in some fashion. Otherwise,
Yeah.
no, we're good to transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. DJ,
Do you
here's the
think?
microphone. Here's the floor. Here's the shotgun.
All right, listen, people, listen. So, if y'all don't want to hear this rant, definitely skip to the time link below. But I just got something I want to say, something on my chest I want to get off. Right. So, for people who know me, if in the Forge or through previous videos, or if you came to any of my streams with the Kingdom Hearts stuff, I am very down to earth when it comes to the mixture of reality, expectations, and the fandom. And I have to say this, and I got permission to speak my mind, but with like a nice blanket of kindness, right? So it's a really thin blanket on a winter's night with the windows open. That's how nice I'm gonna be. So
That's your
community.
warning.
Yeah, that's your guys' warning. The community. Not everybody, but about 75 to 80% of the Kingdom Hearts community on social media, Blue Sky, Twitter or X, and Discord. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? For about a year and a half, anytime there was any Missing Link news, it went one of two ways. It went, can't believe we're getting another gacha game. This is bullshit. Or, oh my god, we need more news. It was either one of the two. There was never just, oh sweet, new game news.
Mhm.
We had content creators that did have leaks, that did try to give us a taste of what is to come. And we tried to, and I say we, I'm not meaning people on the Forge or in this call right now, but we as a community tried to hang them by their feet. But now look what happened. Missing Link is gone. And these people are having panic attacks. They're threatening, they spent time threatening some of the developers that they knew. There was emails being sent out. There was a full riot, mass outrage. But before anything of that, you guys were like fucking SpongeBob the first time I went to Sandy's Dome going, I need water, I need water. No, you guys can't have both ways. I sat here and watched madness unfold for 4 hours straight. Then there was people that were attacking the content creators that were giving us some of the news, saying that it was their fault exclusively, knowing damn well that some of these content creators didn't even have access to the beta, and they got it from other sources. So they took the bullet for us so that we can get some fucking information. I saw grown men and women crying over a game that they weren't even going to play, and they have record of it on social media. So why the fuck you crying? You weren't going to give it the time of day. You can't call yourself a fan, a hardcore fan at that, and be like, nope, I'm not even going to touch the game, I'm just going to watch it on YouTube. A hardcore fan, even on the shittiest version or whatever the community gives us, they grab it and they run with it because at least they got something. Unless the developer or the creator or the storyline or the storyboarder or whatever does some really vile, evil shit, that's the only time you should give up on your community, or not give up on your fandom in general. But then again, I'm gonna say it: we have Harry Potter fans, and we just don't fuck with J.K. Rowling. But we as a community went better than that. But Kingdom Hearts, you can't shit on the one thing that's supposed to give us brand new information, brand new lore, and then be like, fuck you. And then next thing you know, the moment they said, all right, cool, fuck us, we're taking it back. No, you remind me of like my son. My son is 3 years old. He's like, I don't want a sandwich. So I take the sandwich back, and then he has a mental breakdown because I took the fucking sandwich. That's exactly what you guys did.
Sounds like my nephew.
But on God, right? What happened the next day? Kingdom Hearts 4 news. Oh my God, we're so back. They really do love us. Nah, fuck you all. From the bottom of my heart to the curling of my feet, fuck y'all. The most bipolar, selfish ass community that I have seen in the span of 24 fucking hours. Because guess what? They still got those death threats. They still got those hate letters. And I know two people that I followed that I actually blocked after this because I'm not going to deal with them, that went on full rants tagging Square Enix and people that like promoted themselves that they were working on Missing Link, cussed them out, wished them the worst, and then the next day they were like, yo, we got Kingdom Hearts 4 news, man, we're so back. Man, I love Square Enix. No, you don't. You don't.
Now,
But
to a point, I can understand their frustrations, but it's also like you can't be double-sided about it. Like
exactly,
one and the other, and then love the other. Because if you're
these
starving for news, anything works. Yeah. Like the Kingdom Hearts community, despite like the cancellation of Missing Link, it did like bring like energy to the community because everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's
it's a video game. It is not your life. You are not Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to go back to the point of Harry Potter, not to beat a dead horse of it and everything, but you are more than the media that you consume. You know, like yes. I mean, me personally, I do love a lot of the Kingdom Hearts characters, and I look at Sora and his positive, and I'd be like, I want to be like that. But other than that, I'm just like, you are more than just beyond the one video game that you may not even want to play. Like, I mean, Jesus, people, if you're
I'm gonna say it this way.
Yeah.
Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna say it this way, right? Mm-hmm. Because you made a great point. At the end of the day, you are not Sora. You are not the gang. You are a 32-year-old man named Clarence, and you got a wife and kid, and you got a 9 to 5. You don't wake up and go, gang, let's go to Destiny Islands. You go, motherfucker, I got to clock in at McDonald's. Yes, video games are an escape from the hardships of your life, but it should not be escape of reality to the point where you got to send death threats to the people that made your dreams.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they didn't want to cancel it either. That's, they had so much money and everything, or time that, they went in and clocked in to do their job to bring their vision of what they wanted everyone else to see, and they don't get that right now.
And I'm gonna give you guys the harsh reality, because I studied Japanese business culture, right? And for some people who just think that they're just people that get to sit on their asses all day and make video games, I'm gonna be real here, and you know what? I personally know the editor, so if y'all want to cut this out, you have more than welcome to cut this out. But the average
Lay, you wanted to say something? Lay died in the war.
That took a bit of a turn. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, not
the DJ just
an incorrect turn, not an incorrect turn, but yeah.
But I'm just saying,
I mean,
it's the fact that it is not your life. It is your escape to be fun, to have fun with video games, but it is not your end all be all.
Mhm.
And I said this in our Discord server in the Forge, right? I said after reading all that stuff, I realized that I'm not as big as a Kingdom Hearts fan as I thought I was, and I'm okay with that, because people were having severe mental breakdowns over something that they weren't gonna play, and me and Clark said the same thing. Hey, dog, it's just a video game. I'm gonna go play the other one. Yeah. Right now, I'm playing the French game right now that Dolan was talking about. It's actually not that bad.
Yeah. So I did want to get in a word.
I gave you an opening. Gosh.
Yeah, my mic may have been muted and I didn't realize.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I did want to get in a word. I want to not to play devil's advocate too much, but I don't want to. I understand. I understand where the frustration comes from, but you are right. People acted completely out of turn. Saying, I want to make it extremely clear right now. You are allowed to be disappointed. You are allowed to be upset. But to send death threats, to send, these angry letters and emails and tweets at the developers, unacceptable behavior. And we should be better than that as a community.
Yeah. If you want to be entitled, and I've said this, if you want to be entitled, take the good parts of Kingdom Hearts. Shit. You think Sora would want you to play play his game if he knew that you were sending death threats to people? I mean, no, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, let's be 100%. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be disappointed that the game got canceled, but let's at least be civil about it.
Yeah, we're not, fucking Neanderthals here.
And this
everybody from the Forge, hold on, real quick. Everybody from the Forge here, we already, as consumers, have already broken the terms of service for putting keyblades and altering the game's data. So, but yet they appreciate that because we're adding more and we're adding our love to it. But imagine if we were let's say the people who took all the leaked data and tried to sell the leaked data. Then by all means, the punishment should be taking our stuff. Prime example is Spider-Man 2 with Insomniac. when they released when people released the part of the DLC, Insomniac was like, now you're never getting this DLC, and the game is somewhat unfinished now, and this is your
I
fault.
was very upset about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a reason to be upset, but it is it's the fault of the bad people. We're the modders and the community lovers that are like, hey, we love this game, why don't we add more to it?
Yeah, and I mean, let's be 100%. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Kingdom Hearts on a podcast. We're not the average fan.
No, by no
We're a
means,
bunch of
no.
fucking nerds.
Well, I mean, DJ more than anybody, but yeah.
More or less.
But yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people, you know, who I'll admit I'm a little guilty of crashing out a bit when Kingdom Hearts Missing Link got canceled too. I think we all kind of, you know,
Yeah.
No, I felt pretty good. I felt pretty even about it. I felt like my emotions were in control. I think I was fine.
but I wasn't sending, you know,
Yeah.
angry tweets
yeah,
at the developers and telling them, you know, how much I hated them and that they,
if-
you know, accusing them of lying to us. I was
if
just
that was
expressing my
yeah.
disappointment.
If that was a 10 on the scale, you were probably going at a good probably 5, right? You know, you were angry. I think I was probably at like maybe a 2. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And also, we need to remember that this is the first time that we have ever had information about a game during its development that got canceled. We didn't know shit about Fragmented Keys till after.
Yeah.
Now, all this to be said, let's talk about what they
Yes.
did to quell that outrage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bro, they were
which is
on it.
probably
Really outraged for like 6 hours. They're like, okay, we got to do something. This is getting out of hand. Drop the
Yeah.
screenshots.
I honestly thought it was always their plan. I really do think it was always the plan is that we're going to cancel it because I believe it was a whole day in Japan. If memory serves, they drop it one day, then the next day.
it was
not
like-
exactly.
it was
It wasn't
like-
24 hours. It was same day US. It was like 1:30 in the
Yeah.
morning for Central Time,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
it was
It was
8
midnight
p.m.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 8
It was
p.m.
within
when they dropped the
24
Cage
hours.
Force.
Yeah,
release.
I was going to bed with the Kingdom Hearts, or the Missing Link cancellation, and then I was going to bed with the Kingdom Hearts 4 and information. So it was very much that, you
I
know,
was
for
playing Fortnite.
yeah,
I was
for me
playing
it
Fortnite
was
when that
back
happened.
to back with things.
The mouth literally said, drop it.
Yeah,
But yes, let's talk about what they did to quell that outrage, and that is give us some Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots.
It's the
They gave
craziest
us
thing, dude,
seven-
because
7 wonderful screenshots. Actually, they gave us 8 screenshots
they
because
gave us 9 screenshots,
okay.
Latrix.
they gave us 9.
Yeah.
2 of them are almost identical. But,
One more so than the other.
Mm-hmm.
but
Where did
we
they
got a
save
Japanese
these?
version and an English version. We got some gameplay screenshots and we got some cutscene screenshots. And now we get to talk about the good
Yes.
news and not the doom and gloom of Missing
Yeah.
Link. And I know Aura has a theory about Kingdom Hearts 4 based on those screenshots, so I'm going to let Aura take over for a little bit. And
Oh,
then we
no?
can discuss our thoughts.
Share your love with us.
And then we can discuss our thoughts on the Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots. And
Mm.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy, how do I start this?
From the
However you
beginning.
want.
The beginning
Give
is
me, like,
usually the
1
best
second.
start.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Go get your food.
No, but
What?
so I didn't get to watch the Versus 13 episode you guys did, but ever since we saw Yozora in the extra secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 before the not Missing Link, the DLC came out,
Right.
I was like, it's interesting.
Yeah, before
And-
we got to fight and remind, if you got all the the hidden Mickeys, you were able to unlock the secret cutscene that had Sora in Shibuya and Riku in.
Yozora was staring down.
Yeah, and then Yozora was looking at Riku, all broody, being Batman up on top of one of
Being
the
a stalker.
buildings. Yeah,
Who's winning
yeah,
the
he's
brood
up,
off?
yeah.
Who's winning the brood off?
Yeah, but
Zora or Riku?
I remember a lot of people were starting to make the series of Yuzora possibly being a sort of, I can't think of the word,
Counterpart?
a
Mirror,
rebirth,
kind of.
a rebirth of sorts of Nomura's old Versus 13 project.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know that Sora basically died at the end of the game,
Mhm.
which leads me into my thoughts about like the theming around KH4, not necessarily the plot.
That's
Because
fair.
I'm over here looking at the wiki of Versus 13 and how they have a goddess called Etro, who's the Final Fantasy version of like the goddess of death. And it's very intriguing how it mentions hold on, I had to scroll up. She protects the balance between the mortal worlds and the afterlife. And it's very interesting that Quadratum seems to be kind of an afterlife sort of thing. Like, that's the vibes I get, because why would we have that art of Xehanort, present? Why would Strelitzia be there? And we know Sora's there now, because he died.
And we do know that good old mom is there too.
Yeah. I think the best way to put it is we don't know if it's like the afterlife, but it is some kind of afterlife for at least for
Afterworld
Sora. An
is what she
afterworld. It's
called
kind
it.
of a purgatory for Sora at this point.
Yeah.
Considering he broke the rules of nature.
And I do think that the card that Lexor gives Sora is what gives him the ability to still have his Keyblade, because that's my gut reaction. Is I think if at the very least a Keyblader, if you pass away or rewrite time 7 times to to save your friends, it does seem like, okay, you've done all this, now you're being sent to a mundane life where you have no powers. What's that Trudy say? You lose your abilities, your I can't remember exactly what the little munchkin says, but I think that was the idea of this type of secondary life, right? That with this afterlife is that you come here, you no longer have your abilities. You don't have the Keyblade, you don't have magic, you can't run up a wall or anything. You can't summon anything. You are now effectively an NPC. You are you gotta clock in, you gotta work at Starbucks, you gotta do shit.
I mean,
God, I
Sora
love the
could still have
Starbucks.
magic if he's collected cards.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But and that's where I'm sitting here going, it's like, that's gotta be why what that the card that Luxord gave him was. It's because we know Strelitzia can wield a Keyblade, but we haven't seen that.
Not in 4 yet, no.
Yeah, not in 4 yet.
Right,
I could be absolutely off base of that, right? We've gotten a handful of images of Strelitzia, which, by the way, she looks so fucking adorable. If she dies again, I'm killing everyone. We haven't seen her wield a Keyblade, so my gut reaction is, has she lost that ability? When she got, and we know in Quadratum that there is no light and there is no darkness. But if you bring a Keyblade somewhere, that's a beacon of light for the darkness to follow. We know that. That's the whole thing about it.
Right.
That's yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
that's
sorry. I took over your
You're
place.
fine.
I'm sorry.
well. Another thing that stands out to me as I'm reading this is it says in the universe of the Fabula Nova Cassola, series.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13
Um,
series for us who can't
yeah.
say those words.
It says that the universe is
2013.
divided in. It says the universe is divided into the visible world, or the world of the living, and the invisible world, or the world of the dead. The two worlds must remain in balance, or the universe might be destroyed. And you know what happened to Sora? He messed with balance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just found that interesting.
No, you're absolutely right.
fools.
And-
You've
and I
messed
mean-
with the natural order.
And I mean, we've seen. We know that Nomura, puts things from other stories that he's done into and everything. I mean, Nomura was the character designer for the Bouncer, and you put the Bouncer next to, or the Bouncer character Sion next to Sora, and it's like, yeah, no, that's his dad. He reuses things, and it makes perfect sense of how much he really seemed to really love his work with Versus 13.
No, his parents are Cloud and Aerith. Let the shipping wars begin.
Uh,
Oh Lord.
but yeah, no, it's we see how much he does really enjoy Versus 13 and all of his work of it, and it makes perfect sense that if he wants to bring in Versus 13 as the framework for Kingdom Hearts 4 and the Lost Master Saga, that he uses some things of like upsetting the balance and yeeting this anime boy across time and space.
Mhm.
I'm sure those are exactly Nomura's pitch words for it. Yeet this boy from time and space.
Yeah, I definitely think that Nomura is reusing ideas from Versus 13 in 4.
Was there
Not
any doubt?
necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where the way he said it is kind of, I forget exactly the way he said it, but he's kind of like saying like, no, it's not Versus 13, and I think to an extent that's true. Like he's just
Mhm.
repurposing his general ideas
Yeah.
into Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. It's not going to be a one-for-one absolute remake of things that he intended
no.
for it to be. This is just, okay, I have these ideas that I didn't get to use. How can I work it into a project that I am passionate about that won't be canned? And then, it's like, well, people love Kingdom Hearts, we're putting it in here. Hell, I'm here for it. I mean, we like Aura said, and hopefully everybody else who's watching this has already seen, we did a whole video on Versus 13 and just how connected it felt to Kingdom Hearts. Like the biggest thing that I can recall that felt so Kingdom Heartsy was watching the trailer, and it started off with the same cursive gold text that we get with Kingdom Hearts. It's like, yeah, no, it's very clearly, connected in some form or fashion because, Nomura likes his stuff. And,
Nomura
what?
just
I like
has an
Nomura's stuff.
aesthetic. Nomura just has an aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
the Nomura aesthetic. Now I wanna touch on something, segueing from your Quadratum thing, Clark. You mentioned how Quadratum doesn't have light or darkness, but now we're seeing it when Sora arrives with Keyblade and the Heartless follow.
Mhm.
So let's talk about what those Heartless be looking like.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
yeah.
I love these.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
I'm going first. I'm going first because I
Okay.
noticed this one,
Apparently
and I
Woody.
made this comparison. I want to go first because I noticed this one and I made the comparison. If you look on the top screenshot from the Japanese account, and we'll put this on screen for the YouTube version.
Enhance, zoom in,
Yeah.
do a bounce.
The bowler hat looking thing. I know what you're about to say.
Yes. So back left of the Japanese version of the top screenshot.
Above the
Why that
canyon.
motherfucker look like Boris from Meet the Robinsons?
It kind of does. He's not wrong.
They are so weird looking. They had that. like honestly, they are the weirdest looking Heartless I think I've ever seen. And
I
we
love
see
it.
we see 3 of them. There's that one that's very clearly, if you look at the command menu right above it, above the star, you have that. Dead center behind the chains, you can see that its head antenna feelers face thing are closed to make the Void Hearts.
Mhm. And then behind
we have-
Fisty Magoo, there's another
yeah,
one.
Yeah, and then behind one of the purple fisters, there's another one. And also to point out about the heart here is that currently it seems like the running theory that a lot of us have is that all 3 of these that we see, excluding the Shin dark side, are pure blood heartless
Artless.
that have
Heartless is in plural and singular.
Hey, ask Aura what her thoughts on Shin Darkseid are.
yeah, look
No.
at that big thing. Look at
No.
that big thing. God, it is so
No.
cool.
I'm waiting.
Oh, smash.
Nightmare,
I don't like
nightmare,
it.
nightmare, nightmare, nightmare.
Would you not?
What? No.
But we see also the second new Heartless, because we have a theory on that last one when we get there, who I've lovingly called the Fisters. We can see
No.
in the Japanese
No.
screenshot, the red one has a what appears to be a similar heart cavity, and we see these
And
heart
this
cavities
is-
only in pure blood Heartless.
These are the Japanese images, aren't they? Because I'm looking
Yes.
at the English ones right now, and I'm not seeing them.
Yeah.
Alright,
So
I
yeah,
got-
the
Yeah.
English ones
Here.
do not
Here,
have. You don't.
here,
Yeah.
I'll send. I have the top screenshot, the Japanese version. I'll send that in the
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
which is
want
very
to.
weird that they have 2 different combat screenshots for the English and Japanese. I mean, makes sense that they would basically have to remake this. The cutscene ones make sense that you just grab the screenshot. There's no dialogue or anything, but they clearly wanted us to see that an English one and a Japanese one. We have the English
Yeah.
text of everything.
Yeah.
It
Now,
was very
I
clear
wanna-
that.
I want to make mention of the shadows because I really
Yes.
think those are regular Shadow Heartless.
I'm under that belief as well. These are like some uncanny valley humanoid looking shadows
Now,
compared to like, the little imps we've been seeing since the beginning.
I have a theory on why they look like this.
Kingdom Hearts theory. Thanks
Okay.
for watching.
Anyway, but my thoughts on why the Heartless look like this is because so every time we've seen Heartless in Kingdom Hearts, I mean, other than I guess the couple of live action worlds that we've had, like Pirates of the Caribbean or Tron to a
Yeah.
lesser extent,
But they're Disneyfied.
but they're still like Disneyfied. And the Heartless are kind of made to look scary in the context of cartoon Disney worlds. But Sora's not in a Disney world anymore. He's in our world. And I think the idea is that these Heartless, which are supposed to be these horribly grotesque abominations born from the darkness inside people's hearts. I mean, if you think about it, you bring those things into the real world, they're not going to look like cute little ants. They're going to look
No.
freaking
I
scary.
beg to differ. They look adorable.
The soldiers, if the soldiers don't look like lanky, undead, like zombie knights, I'm gonna be upset. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I want a little
that's
horror
really the thing.
in my
You know-
kids' game.
You know,
okay?
you know what
Put a
vibe
little
I'm
bit in
getting?
there, Nomura.
You know what vibe I'm getting from these Shadow Heartless?
I'll say Dark
Is the
Souls.
is the contrast between Tonberries in every other Final Fantasy game versus the Tonberries in Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
That's a valid
absolutely.
comparison,
The
actually.
Converse 16 are they're genuinely horrifying. Oh man.
My theory, and I think the moment that we see a Heartless that we know is definitively from, that we look at, like, let's say a soldier Heartless, like if we see that show up and it is in a more creepier fashion or everything, then I think Latrix, you've got it nailed on the head. I think that this is what happens when a person from Quadratum who doesn't have light or darkness in their hearts succumb to the Heartless. Because
Is that
they're-
not basically what I said? It's just
no,
in a slightly more
because-
roundabout way.
No, because that would mean that these Heartless don't lack what they normally would have when they get somebody. When a Heartless gets a somebody, that heart falls into
You think-
darkness. It
You think that's why
spawns.
they look malnourished?
Yeah, these aren't the Heartless that we're used to. This is a shadow that is from Quadratum. Period. That is what happens when a shadow gets a Quadratum person who lacks the same makeup and magic that exists in the Disney worlds because they're, we know that Quadratum in this universe lacks those fundamentals, and and because Sora is bringing them here, that's where things change. Is that because Sora is able to wield the Keyblade, he brought darkness here. It's all Sora's fault. We gotta blame him. We've gotta blame him. That's all.
Sora ruined everything. Damn you, Sora.
Yeah.
You messed with the bounds of time and space, and the time eaters got you because you were about to unleash Keltor upon the
All
universe.
right. We're banning you
We're
from
getting
talking
into
about
OC
that.
territory. Let's save that for another episode.
Yeah.
But I do want to
But,
point out something that immediately caught me off guard, is that they only show up when Sora arrives, which probably means Strelitzia either can't or has forgotten how to summon her Keyblade.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think that the reason why Sora still retains his ability to summon a Keyblade, I do think, it's the
He
same
didn't
thing
actually
for
die?
Enix. Well,
He was
remember,
kind of just like banished. They sent him to the Shadow Realm.
but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
so was
Strelitzia
Master.
died.
So was the Master of Masters.
Well, we don't know what happened to him. We just know he
If
disappeared.
Yeah.
If Strelitzia did die, we did see her die. Why is she in Quadratum? If this is like it's like kind of like an afterlife. She said it was kind of like an afterlife. But
We don't know.
But does that mean that other Keyblade wielders are in this world?
That
I don't know.
and that leads to the theory as to why people
Maybe.
have that we'll see young Xehanorts.
Yeah, potentially. Xehanort's
Yeah,
14th
that's-
life that he
that's-
alluded to.
Yeah, that's the theory leaning towards that.
I mean-
I don't know where I fall on that theory personally. Like, I kind of want us to be done with Xehanort entirely, but
Yeah, I
think it
don't
would
think
also be
he's
kind
gone.
of-
He
I
might
think
become a
it would-
side character, but he's definitely no longer the big bad.
I think it would be kind of cool in that way. I don't, personally, I'm kind of leaning on either or. I want to see where we really sit on it when we get closer. If it's ever revealed of it and everything, that's a whole podcast topic in and of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in like I've been saying, I do think that these weird Heartless that have shown up are purely because they are following Sora, and and we'll see how all that works. I do want to talk about the Fisters because I think I think because my initial gut reaction was that these are the large bodies, right?
That's what
You
I
attack
think
them
they
from
are.
behind. I'm starting to think that they're more like the Defenders, right?
Possibly.
Yeah.
They power up because I think that red one may not be red all the time. I think we're seeing a charge up attack for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're just seeing an attack being used.
Yeah. No. In fact, we're going to have a drink every time we say the word Fisters.
Sir.
But I do think that we see them power up and attack and everything, and obviously there's two ways to go about taking them out. You go behind them and everything, but you wait for their attack to get done and attack them in the first one. Yeah, it's gonna be a long one. But no, I really like the design too of how they're rocky and everything. Like going through my brain here of all the pureblood Heartless. They might be my favorite design of a pureblood Heartless that's not in the Shadow family.
Yeah, we've never seen one like this. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
maybe the Earth Cores are kind of.
We're close. We're close with it.
Yeah.
But this is something that's a little bit more elevated, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see it.
I did want to. Aura wants to mention the phone, but before we get to that, I did want to say one more thing about the context of the screenshots, and then I'll yield. And that is, I think they're being very deliberate with the fact that they are basically only showing us the same thing that we saw before in that trailer. And that makes me believe. This makes me believe that the reason why they've been so quiet about this game for the last 3 years, the reason why we're seeing the same areas and the same characters, is because, and this could just be my own personal thoughts, they heard the feedback about Kingdom Hearts 3 and them basically spoiling the entire game before it released. And they are holding the contents of this game very close to their chest.
And I'm absolutely okay with that. Honestly,
Mhm.
like I am perfectly fine with that. And I even if we get this like maybe once every 2 months, I'll give it, right? If we get some screenshots of the same fucking road of Quadratum, or and if we just get just every so little bit of different things and whatnot, I'll be happy, because I mean, at least we're getting something.
I mean, I have to imagine that everything they're showing us is very early on in the game.
Absolutely, I agree. I have a theory of the timeline of events and everything, but we'll get into that after Aura talks about the totally normal, absolutely nothing weird about it, rotary phone sitting in the middle of these images.
Yeah, let's talk about that phone.
What you got, Aura?
Way to be subtle, Clark. But the phone's very interesting because while I was going through my Tumblr the other day, just scrolling, I had a post pop up that mentioned that the phone in particular was called a wind phone,
Mm-hmm.
which it in Japan, I'm not going to say the name of the place it's from without butchering it. It's Otuski? No, I said that right. But it originated in this place in Japan after a tsunami. And
Earthquake.
it's unplugged, and you can basically send, like, the living can send a message to their loved ones that they lost.
Yeah, it was a coping mechanism to help people try to grieve the people that were lost.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, Cage 3 was basically reeking of the death motifs.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it very, very interesting that kind of ties back into what I was discussing earlier about how Cage 4 feels like it's going to be drowning in that kind of theme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I agree.
We've been. Go ahead, Nolan.
I was just gonna say, because it's kind of a folklore-y thing, and we know from the Birth by Sleep anniversary this last year, there was a message from Nomura, and he talked about how using folklore of Crossroads in the ending of that in the Keyblade Graveyard. So it's like, this is like the folklore concept is something he has used and is likely to use again. So I think this is a very plausible thing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting a Johnny Cash song to be referenced in the context of Kingdom Hearts, but
It predates that, but no, in really, even after Kingdom Hearts 3, we've been getting a lot of imagery of death and afterlife popping up. We had in Dark Road, you talked to the upperclassmen in the underworld. Obviously, Baldur became Kingdom Hearts' first serial killer. Put him in Dead by Daylight, and then in the original Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer that we got, we saw
Donald and Goofy are in the underworld.
In underworld, looking for either be it
somebody,
Sora, looking for Auron, looking for Max, R.I.P. Max.
I personally still like my theory that they're looking for Auron because he can help them.
Yeah, it'd be cool no matter which way they spin it on. I think it's very interesting seeing them. the fact that they're using the underworld as a plot device for the entirety of it is really cool to me. But
I mean, some people are saying that they're looking for Hades, but I don't think so, because the context of the screenshot, the context of the trailer, excuse me, makes it seem like they're trying to avoid getting caught by Hades, and then Hades catches them and they freak out.
which is viable. And once more, like, you know, when we see more of that, we may be able to get more context, right? Maybe they are looking for Hades, but it's Donald and Goofy, so they're scared shitless. You know. But we don't know. We don't know until we see more. But regardless of it, we've gotten so much death imagery in the fact that we have the wind phone and
Presumably a wind phone.
Presumably wind phone. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got me before I did it. But at the very least, at the moment, that seems to be the most plausible answer for it. All of us could be completely off base for it. It could just be a rotary phone, and Sora's like, look, man, this is all I can afford. Starbucks ain't paying me shit.
I'm gonna be real. It would be really, really fucking funny if it's just a phone.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to say also, don't forget that we had the whole final world and talking to basically the souls of the deceased in the form of stars. So don't forget about that either.
Absolutely. Now I wanted to get into the sequence of events here.
Wait. Before you do that, let me talk about the screenshot next to the phone before we get to the bottom row.
I'm shitting in your mailbox.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, because there's a screenshot of Mickey in a library, which has to be Scala at Kylum, and we know that's where he went after the end of Melody of Memory when Yen Sid sent him there.
Yeah. Like you can see the filigree on the there's some filigree on the left hand side, and
you can like see the Scala symbol.
It's if it's not Scala, then Scala needs to sue somebody for taking their stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely the librarian Scala.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the sequence of events at the bottom, which I will let you talk, but reiterating our earlier discussion about Missing Link, not to drag that back up, but
how dare you?
Mm-hmm.
This could be potentially how they solve delivering the plot, the crucial plot details of that game.
Yeah. And honestly, for all we know, if that's the case, that could have been the plan all along. Like, even if Missing Link released, they would still recap stuff in this way. We don't know exactly, but I do think that's a very plausible idea.
Yeah, because that was the whole plot of Missing Link, right? Is that this was the error that was not recorded, right? This was the part that no one,
that's true.
Not recorded, it means that it wasn't. I do believe that was specifically referring to not recorded by the Master of Masters, because the eye was covered. So obviously that would mean, like in my brain is that Mickey is going deep into the library, to some forbidden section or whatever, to find records of Scala, because we know that they go to the astral plane, which is probably a hop, step, and a jump away from Quadrado. But that's my theory, is that this is how they were going to directly get a lot of the lore from Missing Link into Kingdom Hearts 4's baseline. I just think we might get more than we would have.
Actually, you make a good point, and I hadn't even really thought about this, but you did mention they do refer to it as the unwritten era, so it would be a little strange for it to then be written down in a bunch of books in a library.
Yeah. Like I said, I think they probably do have it written down and everything, but not written down in the Book of Prophecies.
I mean, it could just mean that it was invisible to the... I mean, it could just be that it was lost to knowledge, not like literally unrecorded.
I mean, seemingly, Scala ad Kylum as a whole is like lost, because
that's
like
true.
we didn't hear anything about it until we hijack Xehanort's memories to fight him in Kingdom Hearts 3, basically.
And
now
that memories was of Dark Road Scala.
Here's another question, because this is a good point. The library that we're looking at, I mean, it's hard to tell just based on the lighting and the architecture, especially because he's indoors, but which version of Scala is Mickey in?
I think given
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, given the filigree and everything, I'm thinking we're in. I think the last version of Scala that existed was the one in Dark Room. That's the one, like, after
quote unquote
after,
modern Scala.
yeah. Modern Scala was the last time it was touched, and once Xehanort and Ericus left, and Odin went on vacation somewhere. Then
He did.
he retired. He went on vacation till he died. But I think that would mean that Scala is more or less untouched from then on, which would mean, and this is going to go back a little bit to what Origins put it, is I think that they whatever would have happened at the end of Missing Link that caused a Bloodborne Scala to not exist anymore. I think that they were I really do think that that's probably why a lot of it was unwritten, was because they dug too deep and they dug too greedily. Once again, all this speculation. And whatever records they were able to recover, they were afraid that they were going to repeat. So they put it deep into this library, and then we'll get cutscenes of Mickey going through this library, scurrying around like the little mouse he is.
I do also wonder,
I
because
want to talk about that for a second, like just real quick because
Oh,
that
go
one
ahead.
Mickey screenshot had all of my like neurons activated, because when you look at it, because what I saw from it was like Mickey is sneaking around on top of a chandelier, and that made me think, why is Mickey sneaking around in what is supposedly an abandoned world? So what's hiding in Scala ad Kylum?
yeah,
It's
it's a
got-
stealth
yeah,
section of some sort.
So to me, it was two things. A, there is some serious darkness in that world now. That
Baldur's still there.
yeah, and they're
that
just
would
still
be-
there roaming
No,
about.
oh god,
Or
wait.
B,
What
that's
if that darkness
number
is still
B.
there? What if the darkness
Uh,
is still there?
Yeah.
It's possible, but also, what if it's still up and running? It's just been closed off from the rest of the world.
That's
could-
my
It's like
And-
The
and
Shining,
Mickey-
where you're
Mickey
having
as
to
an
avoid
outsider.
Baldur.
Yeah, like just think about Mickey Mouse stealth section. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
When I look at it, I'm honestly been taken back to Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts 1 with Hollow Bastion, right? Of
Oh,
the
yeah.
platforming section and everything. Like that's the vibe I'm getting, is that
Oh, yeah.
someone on the KH team was watching regular Pat's videos and went, look, if we don't put this somewhere, he's gonna hate us forever. We gotta put Kingdom Hearts 1 in here
Yeah.
somewhere.
You know what else is interesting is that the Scala symbol on the library, like bookshelves, looks eerily similar to the shape of the castle at the Land of Departure. I just thought that was interesting.
Which
That's
goes
true.
back to what Or just posted.
I mean, yeah, there is a
Yeah.
connection between the two,
Over
because
here, Lord.
Ericus
Dropping
was
Lord.
given Ericus was given responsibility over the Land of Departure, which means that it has some importance to Scala ad Kylum. And as Ericus being the wielder of the Master's Defender, he has been given this serious responsibility to protect whatever the heck is in the Land of Departure.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see them.
We don't know anything
like,
about that. We've
locking-
only explored that one area, what they did for the Mark of Mastery and Birth by Sleep, and the outside
and
area.
then the
That's all
outside
we've ever
area,
explored.
and then we got the same area
bedroom.
again in Kingdom Hearts 3, basically, where Aqua, where Yvain woke up and beat the shit out of Vanitas.
Yeah.
The one thing that I
so
do
bad.
want to
That's
note
so
about the Mickey screenshot, one thing I do want to know about the Mickey screenshot is, it seems like this is the first like proper playable Mickey section in basically any of the Kingdom Hearts games. Like there was
Yeah.
days with
Not
the
true.
mission
Yeah, there's-
mode.
Not true.
Player.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts 2, you had the Mickey could save you section
that's
in
true.
certain
Well,
boss
but-
fights.
but that was like-
playable.
I mean, like-
temporary. You can't
like, you're at,
stay
like-
playing as Mickey Mouse in that.
Yeah,
though.
you are playing as Mickey, and you are intended to be playing as Mickey for the purposes of the plot.
Like this
Yeah.
is the same thing as when we got to play as Riku in the Riku sections. You know, just ever
Yeah.
so slightly. Is
I would hope that this is more substantial than the Riku section.
I do think it is. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
though, is that
and-
you know we do get to interact with the world as Mickey, because I'm sitting here looking at it, it's like, yes, there's no other party members. Yes, the command menu is rather bare bones, which is fine.
He doesn't even
because I
have a
don't
health
think it's much.
bar.
It may
Yeah.
still be
Well,
early on.
Exactly my point. Why I said
Yeah.
it was like a
Um,
stealth section, because
Yeah.
maybe it's like if you
Perhaps.
get caught, you got to start over.
And he only has an attack command.
probably.
Yeah. The main thing I was going to note about that is I'm a Kingdom Hearts 3 modder, obviously, and although I don't make these types of mods, that would make like a proper playable Mickey mod very realistic, because there's already a bunch of mods that just let you change to the existing Riku pawn in Kingdom Hearts 3 or the existing Aqua pawn. So I just think that's really cool, and like that'll have for some fun mod moments.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And also
Wait,
should
but I
note
don't
that
think that-
he is still wearing his Kingdom Hearts 3 outfit.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see why he would get a new one. He's still in the old
Sora
world.
gets a
He's-
new outfit every numbered title. Mickey's
Well, yeah, but
still in the
Sora-
same thing. Mickey,
Sora-
the mouse doesn't get new fits. Let's put that.
Hey,
No, he
no,
doesn't.
his shirt got destroyed by a demon tide.
I
No,
know, but
the
I
ones
just-
who don't get new fits are Donald and Goofy. They in the
Shirtless
same
Mickey.
dusty,
No,
dusty
you're right.
outfits.
But no, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I know some of my friends have messaged me like, man, I missed the Kingdom Hearts 3 aesthetic and outfit, right? With they're not too pleased on the more realistic look of everything. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's just because he's in Quadratum. He
Personally, I
shows up-
love the
Absolutely.
KH4 outfit.
Yeah.
And then he
The
confirmed
KH4
it. They
outfit
did confirm
is
that
really
it's
good.
just because he's in Quadratum. That's
Yeah.
still like his outfit from KH3.
Yeah. Well, no,
No,
we
it's
do
new
know-
clothes. We
yeah,
know it's new clothes because
yeah.
Strelitzia gave him new clothes.
Yeah, think of that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're
it's
right.
the
you're right, you're
reason.
right,
The
yeah.
reason his features look realistic is because he's in Quadratum.
Yeah. But you
Okay,
know
now
that.
hear me
but,
out.
Yeah.
Baller idea: give Sora the ability to buy clothes and wear different outfits.
Make them the
Customization
brands
goes
from
through the
Twiwi.
roof.
Make them the brands from Twiwi, please.
Yeah,
We'll
I
get
want
there.
some Nero
Oh,
Gatto
that's
clothes,
great.
please.
All right. Now I do
Please.
think we have ran dry on the Mickey well over here.
Yeah, let's talk
Now-
about the. Wait. Okay,
I'm
I'm
killing
gonna.
you.
I'm gonna tangent one last time because I mentioned this before we started recording. It's really quick, I promise.
I'm
Going
shooting
back
you.
up, going back up to that top screenshot, the command menu. The command menu.
Yes.
It looks
this is-
pretty.
Oh boy.
My turn.
This is a quick section. So we got a couple of things we need to examine here, and
That's
so
not a quick section.
we've got the yellow
yes.
gauge above the word commands with the little diamond next to it. And now I noticed that if you look at the Japanese version, there is like a blue glow around that yellow gauge, which tells me that that's not just a random yellow bar. That's some sort of reactive HUD element that will be some sort of meter or gauge of some sort. And that diamond shape, I would have to guess, is some sort of area for a button prompt, like a triangle button for a finisher or an activation of some sort. My guess is that this is going to be our replacement for situation commands, just because Nomura did mention he wanted to bring reaction commands from KH2 back, and that would kind of conflict. So I'm thinking it might work more similarly to how command styles worked in Birth by Sleep.
that's the theory that I've seen going around. Yeah, or at least how they build up with that. Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, and the other thing I wanted to mention is just the HUD element on the attack gauge, and of course the little. I like that you can see how many items you have equipped at a glance. That's cool, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. We noticed that there are two arrows on the attack button. One of them has a little keyblade icon with a little arrow, which I can only assume is switching keyblades. But there's another arrow pointing to the left, and it's differently shaped. Now, the graphic design brain in my head tells me that two differently shaped arrows, one with a keyblade icon next to it and one without an icon next to it, means that those two arrows do two different things. Which I can only assume means this little arrow pointing to the left is either just maybe a button to access your shortcut menu, or potentially this could be like Kingdom Hearts 2, where there is a second page to the command menu, because we do see that build command in the place of where the summon command would typically be, just like how the drive command took took up the place of the summon command in Kingdom Hearts 2. So unless there just aren't going to be summons in this game, which, I mean, there might not be, we don't know, but assuming that there might be, this arrow could be pointing to a second page of the command menu with different options. I don't know. I thought
Potentially,
that might be interesting.
I think I definitely don't discount the idea, but I feel like that, I don't know. It just feels weird because I feel like that might, I don't know. I don't want to say like too much clutter, but it just feels like, since you're familiar with Keyblade switching being left and right in KH3, having that be having there be Keyblade switching but only with the right one, I just feel like that would be a weird approach. But maybe
I looked at the command menu in Kingdom Hearts 3. I went back and I cross-referenced. There wasn't that little Keyblade icon next to the arrow, and there was only an arrow pointing to the right.
Right. No, yeah, I know that.
I'm just to the left.
I'm just saying. I think it could very well just be a not necessarily quality of life. I don't know if that's the right word, but like just something to say like, hey, you can do either direction. Yeah.
I don't know why they'd be two differently
either
shaped
way.
arrows then. I don't know why they'd be two differently shaped arrows. Just because to me that just tells me that they do two different things. But again, maybe that's just my brain.
Yeah. And it like I said, it could be. I could see it going either way. Until we are suggested otherwise, I personally don't think so. But we'll see eventually.
Also, yes. Aura says that I would like to point out. I do like that the Quadratum command menu makes the little menu options look like road lines. I think that's neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, just the fact that there's a themed command menu already
tells me that they're
very
farther
sweet.
along than we thought.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Like,
Clark,
they're definitely
yield.
hiding stuff.
Okay, Clark, I yield. Actually, wait. I wanted to touch on the build section.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, no. Just real quick.
You don't-
This will be
you
like
don't-
2 sentences. Everybody thinks that the chains are the build command. I don't. I think that's some sort of command style or form change for the Kingdom Key. I think the build section. I think the build command, the way Nomura described it as destruction and reconstruction, and the fact that this game is running on Unreal Engine 5, my mind is kind of right now leaning towards more of like a Fortnite style destructible environment that you can use the materials to build constructs in the world, but that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, Clark, I yield. The floor is yours. You can talk about the bottom 3 screenshots now.
All right. Okay. Before I do, you want to interrupt me a third time?
No, I'm done.
Okay. You sure?
Actually, I'd like to talk about
I'm
something.
shitting in your mailbox now.
I'm gonna mute my microphone. So if I try, you can't. There you go. How about that?
All right. So here's my entire thought with this. Right, is that I agree with what Latrix said much earlier on. Is that all we're seeing is very early stuff. Right, we're not seeing anything beyond. Honestly, probably beyond the tutorial. And the reason why I believe this is that I believe the sequence of events go that Sora wakes up in Quadratum. We see him wake up on the couch. Strelitzia explains the situation. And then Strelitzia probably goes and shows Sora the town. In which case, during that event happening, that's when Darkseid appears. Sora, being Sora, runs in, summons Keyblade, goes to attack. While attacking, these 2 weird magic missiles that we have no idea what they are, blows up the Heartless, blows up Shin Darkseid, which is the first screenshot that we see here. That leads into the second screenshot where we see the Darkseid being eviscerated, and Sora's looking towards this. And then we see the follow-up screenshot of our boy looking so good, watching it happen. And I think after that is when we get the combat cutscenes, because the reason why I say this is that the combat screenshots are the only ones in which Sora's wearing a watch. Sora's not wearing a watch in the bottom center screenshot. He's not wearing it, which means to tell me he has not been given that yet. So, and we know that he's not wearing it during the initial cutscene. It could not have been planned for that part, but he's not wearing it here. And they've already updated his model to look better. So he's got to have he's got to be given this watch. And I think I think Strel gives him this watch so that way, they can stay in communication and everything.
You think it's like a replacement for the gummy phone for this
I
game,
think it's a
maybe?
replacement for the
Yeah,
gummy
That,
phone.
I
think
definitely see that.
I think it's the replacement for the gummy
gummy
phone.
watch.
It could also be a replacement for Jiminy because obviously, I hope they took him out of the hoodie before he died. But yeah,
That's a good point, actually. What happened to Jimmy?
he's he got lost somewhere too.
Bro,
But
he
yeah, I
faded
think
away and Jimmy just collapsed out of where his hood used to be. He just fell.
Um,
into
I
he
it.
would
just fell
also-
there.
I would also like to point out, just to lend credence to your timeline of events, that the overpass that Sora is standing underneath in the second screenshot is the same overpass that the dark side is standing over in the first screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
I think that's the sequence of events. I think
Yeah, I definitely think
yeah.
that's just back-to-back screenshots, basically, in a cutscene.
I think the trailer basically happens before these three screenshots. Obviously, there are several screenshots missing from the center of them shooting the missiles. Of what happens after. I like to imagine Strelitzia goes up to Sora because, like, you dumb idiot! Why did you go and attack it? You
You could say there's a few missing links.
I'm banning you.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
I do have a thought regarding the magic missiles.
Okay,
And
yeah.
my initial reaction to seeing the blue specifically was like, oh, Donald, Goofy, but that doesn't make sense because the
Yeah.
other one's more gold than green, and why would Donald and Goofy be here? However, my thought, what if this is Strelitzia and Riku? And what if Strelitzia and Riku are your party members throughout the game?
That's an interesting
thought,
take.
Interesting.
I mean, that does absolutely ruin my idea of the Strelitzia
Because-
and Keyblade bit, but
Yeah.
what's more, I have no, I can be shown that incorrect. We could have another screenshot tomorrow, please, no more. But and be proven incorrect upon that. But no, I mean, it makes sense. Her colors are white and orange. That's kind of a golden color that can fit in. While I personally associate Riku with yellow. He is more associated with blue. From
I always
Kingdom Hearts
associated
4,
him with silver,
The hedgehog?
like a dark, like a dark.
Obligatory
silver
Sonic
color.
reference.
I think the
would've made
reason that makes me think of Riku is because a lot of his dark magic has a lot of blue in it.
You're right.
Hey,
Absolutely.
so-
I mean, yeah.
Hey, so I wanna say something that I saw somebody on Twitter point out. The colors gold and blue. I'm gonna just post a screenshot in the chat, and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
leave it there.
That's
And
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. It is the Gay Blade. You are right.
it is the colors of the Gayblade. So this could be Riku showing up.
Yeah,
It could be.
because
And Sora and Riku doing the thing.
yeah, at this stage, we have no freaking clue when Riku is showing up. I think we can all assume that he is showing up, considering the end of Melody of Memory.
Yeah.
We don't know when that
Yeah.
takes place in relation to what's happening with Sora or vice versa.
Well, obviously he has to show up because he shows up in the Shinjuku ward with Yuzora looking down at him from the freaking Tokyo
Well, yes, but that was a
government building.
dream. That was a dream, and we
that
don't know
was- that
how
was a weird one,
like
yeah.
we don't know how like prophetic that was, I guess, to put it. We don't know how accurate that will be strictly, but yes, we do know he is going to be there, just considering he
Yeah.
went after Sora at the end of Melody
Yeah,
of Memory.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and we don't know how much time has passed between Sora going to the final world, fighting Yozora, and then waking up in Quadratum. We don't know.
Yeah.
The
we don't know
length
if that's before the year time skip or after the year time
yeah,
skip.
yeah. We don't know. We know that in the Kingdom Hearts, and we also, once more, time in the Kingdom Hearts universe is such a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then we'll move on. But yeah, we don't. We know that Riku and Kairi experienced a year's gap in between the end of in between the end of 3 and the end of Melody of Memory.
Well, I mean,
Or-
Kyrie slept through the whole thing, but you know.
well, I mean, like just like Sora.
Kingdom Hearts characters take year-long naps all the time. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
fine,
Ben
it's
slept for
fine.
10 years. But we don't know if time is synchronized with Quadratum. It could be immediately
Mhm.
because, I mean, let's remember here, Strelitzia should be long since dead.
Yeah.
for multiple
Yeah.
reasons. Because she is at least what math being math.
Hundreds
it's gotta
of
be at
years
least-
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least
Hundreds upon
500 years old.
Tens upon thousands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the
Eons.
biggest problem is we don't know how much time there was between the end
She had a
of
necklace.
Union Cross and
And
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
and then was
like, we don't
well,
know that.
between the end of Union Cross and where
yeah.
when Missing Link would have taken place, because we can have an assumption on the timeline of Missing Link, what it would have been with it, and with it, I think most likely ending with basically the same ending as Union Cross with Baby Xehanort,
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
that's another 60 or 80 years after is Birth by Sleep, and so that's the whole thing with Missing Link, is that it's the missing piece of the timeline. Haha. So that's the only thing, is we just don't know how much time between then. But regardless, at least 100+ years old Strelitzia would be.
Yeah. We don't know what the waiting line to get into Quadratum's like. Like we don't know.
Is there a bouncer to let you in?
Yeah. Did we get to see the entirety of Bouncer grow up? But yeah, no. I mean, it's the timeline side of things is going to be very interesting to see and digest. Is this how we saw the Master show up years and years later in Dark Road and remind to speak with young Xehanort before he went time traveling? Is that or no, after he went time traveling? Is that how was he able to dip into the KH verse and it passed by hundreds and hundreds of years for him to have that conversation and then hop back into Quadratum because he wasn't supposed to? We don't know what the timeline is going to be.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the more interesting lore bits I think we'll find out.
I will say Sora does look older.
Yeah.
It
He
could
does.
also be the rendering, but I agree. He
Yeah.
does look older,
Yeah.
period. Also, can we talk about the update of his look? Because
Oh, he looks so
And
good.
Strelitzia. And I was gonna say we should just talk about how good Strelitzia and Sora look.
Yeah,
I do want to say something about Strelitzia. I do want to say something about.
the screenshot was crazy, bro. They filled their cheeks out.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
want to say something about Strelitzia in.
If you insult her, I will kill you, Lay.
No. Is it just me? Is it just me? Or does she look less like a real person in this screenshot than she did in the first trailer? Like, she looks more like a doll than like a real person.
Well,
She
I
looks
mean-
like a 3D animated video game character. I'm
that
sorry.
would-
I don't see what you're seeing, buddy. She didn't look real to begin with to me.
I don't know. Again, it could just be me. Also, slight visual update thing. I do remember in the first trailer, there was no indication of Sora using flow motion when he was like running on walls and stuff. But I do like that now we can see his shoes glow when he's using flow motion. So I think that's cool.
I much prefer that
Normal sized shoes.
to
Yeah.
what we've got, like those weird bright pink and blue glows we got in 3D and
Yeah.
3.
I do like that it's just the
Yeah.
shoes. I think it's like a really subtle but like cool
Yeah.
effect.
It's a good
Yeah.
indicator that flow motion isn't an effect, but it's also not super.
It's not invasive.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
invasive
invasive's
is
good
what
name,
it
yeah.
is. It just
Yeah.
you know it's there, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like an entire aura surrounding his body.
Yeah.
That like it's just his shoes are
Entire
glowing.
what?
Ha 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 ha. Laura, are you embracing Sora?
Don't worry about it.
All right. So, anyways, Sora's hair, starting from the top down, they gave it so much more volume. It felt so flat.
Oh
at
yeah,
first.
yeah,
I
for
didn't
sure.
realize-
I was
How
using
flat it
shampoo
felt.
for the first time in
Yeah.
years.
It also looks a
Yeah.
lot darker. It looks way darker.
And that could be
I think
the
it's
the
I think
lighting,
it's
but I
reality.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
Um,
It does make me feel more closer in line to KH1 Sora's hair color as opposed to 2, because 2 was significantly
It
lighter.
was a little-
Now let's
yeah,
mention the necklace because the necklace is
That was the
substantially
next
different.
line. That was the next
Jewelry
level going
now.
down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't hate it, but it is
Very
strange.
His pants Let's not get that far.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah, we're at the.
We're not there yet.
Yeah,
They
we're
did
at
change his
the,
pants, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we're moving down the necklace. Yeah. No, I kind of. I just wish I'm fine with it being smaller and everything, because I mean, if you were to go out and buy his necklace, which I have, it's going to be about that size. I just wish it was just a little bit, just ever so slightly bigger. You know, just the emblem being just a little bit bigger.
Oh, I like
but other
it.
than that, I think it's fine.
I like it personally. Also,
Yeah.
Dolan did point out when the screenshots first came out that his buttons look like they have some sort of like impression on them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
they're not
quite-
just flat metal. You
Yeah.
can't really make it out, but it seems pretty clear that there's something on them now.
Yeah.
Also, I like
Yeah,
that his
yeah,
jacket
or-
looks like it's made of leather. Like in the first trailer, it looked like it was some sort of denim material, but now it very clearly looks leathery.
Yeah, they didn't have the textures put up there yet. And also another thing is that his jacket is also like his hoodie is also more open, going with that deep V-neck that he was slowly getting as the series progressed.
Yeah.
It'll be a button.
I really dig this outfit for Sora, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's really good.
white this time.
Yeah, his shirt's
It's not
white.
black like it was in the last game.
That's
Because
true,
deep
yeah.
down, there's a light in the darkness of your closet that'll never go out.
He's very fashionable in this game.
Yeah.
He looks really good. I love the jacket.
And they hemmed his pants. We can go down to the pants.
Yeah, they did change his pants. He was wearing capris in the original trailer, and now he's wearing joggers. Somebody pointed that out. I think that is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I think it looks better.
Yeah,
just in
that
general,
goes
'cause it-
more along with his
yeah.
pre-existing style, because other than his Cage 1 pants, but all of his pants after Cage 1 had the kind of like jogger bottom or like tighter
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
it's
also
very
a
much better for running.
bit hard to tell with the blue glow on them. I can't tell if they did anything different to the shoes or not.
They seem different to me.
They look a
Don't know
little
why.
different,
The
but
vibe
it's
feels weird. Yeah,
they
it-
look
well,
a
not
little
weird, it feels-
different, but I can't really tell because again, they've got that flow motion aura
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and there's no way you're making out any details in the bottom screenshot of his shoes. Like
No.
there's nothing there. You could.
I mean, there's yellow on them. There's yellow on them. I can see a yellow
Yeah.
strip on like on the sole, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's about all I see.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, and honestly, you know, I kind of like him with the watch too. That's kind of you know, I didn't think, because this is also the first time we're seeing Sora without gloves. He
Mhm.
wore
That's
gloves
true.
in every appearance,
Yeah.
but 4 is the first time he's without gloves, which
Yeah.
makes sense in a more real world setting, unless you're, you know, working in which you'll need to have to wear gloves, or you're driving like a motorcycle or something.
You'd think he'd have one for the hand that he wields the keyblade with, at least, just so he doesn't get like
Yeah.
you know burns and
Get that.
impressions on his hand.
Something I will say that whether or not how long the watch has been planned exactly as that, if assuming that it is like the new gummy phone-esque thing.
Yeah.
Something that I've noticed, because I commission a lot of art from friends of my own characters, and a lot of the time, if there's nothing on the wrist or if they're not wearing gloves, it looks kind of strange sometimes. So that could be part of the reason they opted to go with a watch, because just have something there.
Yeah, because I
somebody
mean,
also pointed out it looks like his sleeves are pushed a little bit higher now than they were in the first trailer.
yeah, you gotta have room for the watch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, yeah, they do seem to sit higher. Like honestly, it does seem that they have went through, at the very least, the models in which we have seen again now with Strelitzia and Sora. They've went through the model and completely updated them.
Yeah,
they,
I
mean-
they
reiterating.
didn't. Yeah, they
I
didn't do
do
it from the ground
remember-
up, but they have upgraded them.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember Nomura saying that Sora's Kingdom Hearts 4 outfit was not final, and he said there could be some changes that were made to it. And it looks like that's just what we're seeing, is they just
Yeah.
made some refinements. Like, they didn't
Yeah,
completely
exactly.
change it, but they did make some adjustments and refinements.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, I'm sure that took a long time of going back and forth of like, okay, all right, do we want the necklace this small? Do we want it this small? Do we want it this big? You know?
Can I also say that his eyes, in my opinion, look a lot bluer now? They look more
Yeah.
kind of greenish in the first trailer.
I don't know about green, but they definitely seem more saturated. At least in this one screenshot. Which remember, we're also getting bounce lighting from the holy light in the distance there. But
Also, man, the engine upgrade looks so good.
it looks fun. Like
Yeah.
I
Which-
really
Yeah.
can't wait to play. I can't wait to play this
no,
game. It's going to be
like,
fun.
this-
I will
this
wait
is-
as long as I need to play this game because it looks like it'll be fun.
And it looks like the gameplay screenshot doesn't even have lighting yet, so like it's
Yeah.
gonna look better.
Yeah. To note, that I'm surprised we didn't actually bring this up before, but this is our first time seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 in Unreal Engine 5.
That too, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and it looks really good.
It looks great, yeah. And,
Yeah,
and I'm
it
sure
does.
it will look it will look good in Unreal 4 and everything, but man, does it look good in Unreal 5.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it can only go up from here, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
only gonna get better. I can't wait to see Darth Vader.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Darth Vader is
it-
gonna look insane.
Anything is going to look insane. Like we've
all gonna
only
look
seen
really crazy.
one boss. We've only seen one boss, and we all know he's the tutorial.
Nightmare Darkseid, my beloved.
Yeah, yeah. Jin Darkseid being as cool as he looks, I can't wait to see what they throw at us because it's going to look amazing.
I
hope it's
want-
not a bigger version of the bowler hat things because those things freak me out a little.
Dude, I want some Lovecraftian abomination heartless up in this bitch. Like,
Yeah,
give me
those
some
be
freaky
ugly.
shit.
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and like I said, yeah, to more wrap everything back up a little bit succinctly, it does suck that Missing Link got canceled. I do think we will see it reborn again in the future, but my God, am I? I was just as base level hyped for Kingdom Hearts 4. But I gotta figure out what the fuck that phone is, man. I gotta have it. I gotta have the phone.
Actually, yeah, I mean, we were already excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, but man, actually seeing it,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
hits different. It really
Yeah.
does.
It's one of those things where like a very
been
large amount of
84
people
years.
has a very large amount of people in the fandom have been like vocally upset that there has been no update on Kingdom Hearts 4. And like I can understand parts of both sides of the argument. Like obviously we just want to hear more about the game, but I also understand that like let the developers cook, let them do their thing.
Yeah.
It's a balance of it, but
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing we wanted,
Yeah,
and we got it.
yeah.
And
this
we're
is
good.
all I really wanted. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting a full trailer. I just wanted communication and updates on like the status of development. This is
Yeah.
pretty much exactly what I wanted them
And-
to give us, and they gave it to
Mhm.
us.
And
Yeah.
speaking of communication, right? We should note that it was who tweeted out saying you that
IBS.
to follow Squidix. That, IBS.
Oh yes, Ibs or Ibs. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know.
Irritable
What's
bowel
his
syndrome.
ranking again?
So he is the senior influencer relations manager at Square Enix.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and then
good chance he knows something.
Sunil, who's the head of social media at Square, was also like parroting some of the stuff, and then somebody else. who also-
I put the screenshot of it, but he works at Square Enix. He was saying, so Eves was saying like follow the Kingdom Hearts account, and then this other person, which I want to find the screenshot. I don't remember where I posted it,
I think it was in the Kingdom Hearts thread.
but I want to find his name so that I like properly like say who he is and what his job is. But he was saying, sign up for the email updates. Let me
Yeah,
find
and
the
then-
exact tweets because I want
and
to
then-
read them out exactly.
Yeah, and then Ibs was saying like make sure to follow the Kingdom Hearts social media, Kingdom Hearts official X account for your source on official updates. And it sounds like they're finally ramping up for
Okay.
maybe not like full marketing, but
Yeah.
at least more regular communication.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to
Yeah.
read out the tweets, I will forward these to the Guiding Keys chat so we can send them for editing purposes. But Ibs said, please, for the love of all that is good, make sure you follow at Kingdom Hearts as your only source of upcoming Kingdom Hearts 4 new updates. Good night. And
I
then
noticed he said upcoming.
yeah,
Mhm.
Daniel Nasirian, who is a director at Square Enix and Disney. He said, and sign up for email updates ... with the eyes emoji. And then somebody replied to him, and he said, and just asking where to sign up, and he posted the Square Enix website link for that. So these are Square Enix employees telling us to be like
News
like,
is
on the
coming.
lookout.
Yeah,
On the
yeah.
lookout.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not really an indication as to how soon, but they are saying like, hey, be prepared.
Yeah. We
I
are
think-
entering the beginnings of the news cycle.
I think this is a sign of at least more regular communication. I don't think we're ready to enter full marketing yet. If anything, my prediction, I'm gonna make a prediction looking at this screenshot and just the development progress, seemingly, what we can glance. I will say the game looks farther along than I expected it to be. It does look like it is at a stage where it could potentially release within the next year or two. So I'm thinking we'll probably start getting more regular communication, maybe leading into 2026, where they will begin full marketing either for a late 2026 release or potentially early 2027.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Sounds
stick
better.
on a mid 2026 just to keep Copium alive, but I think that's late to early 2027 feels absolutely it feels like a good valid mentality to have.
Does that seem like a reasonable timeline of events to you guys?
I think so. I would say I will
It could.
continuously always say that I'm on Copium until we actually have the game. But I've said this before, but I think there is potential that it shows up at Summer Games Fest. I don't think it's guaranteed, but the timing makes it possible. I think at the very latest, I think maybe TGS is.
I'm going to predict, actually, that we're not going to see it at any particular showcase event.
Yeah.
Because the way Ibs was talking, he said, follow the Kingdom Hearts account for your only official source of Kingdom Hearts news that's upcoming, which makes me think that they're just going to show it whenever they're ready to, and it's not going to be lined up with some sort of event.
Yeah. I'm not using an event as a bridge. It would be nice to see it show up at the Game Awards, for example, right?
I
But
think they're just going to do their own thing.
Yeah. I imagine we actually see things well beforehand, or or so on for that, of just seeing when things come out and everything, like, because everything that we've gotten from them, from both Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4 news, of any of that has not coincided with anything.
Right. So what I will say on this is I agree. I think it's very possible that they release something on their own time. I think the next trailer should be at an event because it's basically the re-reveal of the game, and I think because it's such a big deal. I think it should be at a big event. If it's not, whatever. But I just think that would make the most sense personally.
I don't think the re-reveal will be, but I do think that once full marketing truly starts, I think we'll see it at events.
And let's be
us,
fair.
Never know.
Yeah. Let's be fair. For as far as we know, tomorrow we got something. We know shit. And every time we just
no, because this is exactly what I was saying when they announced that Missing Link got canceled. I was like, I don't think they're gonna go very long without finally updating us on Kingdom Hearts 4. They could start talking about it again tomorrow for all we know, and then it happened later that freaking night.
Now let's be 100%. This was absolutely an apology.
Oh yeah. This was definitely for that. But
they messed up. They said, "Listen, we messed up. There wasn't a lot of communication. We've been mulling over this for a while, so we have to cancel Missing Link. But here, have something to fill the void just a little bit while we're cooking up the rest of this game for you."
What you got on?
So, in chat, I mentioned how 2027 would be 7 years after Melody of Memory came out. And Latrix said that's also the 25th anniversary. So, yes.
I mean, it's absolutely possible. I would rather it be in 2026, but once more, I would rather let them cook then get a
Mhm.
game beforehand. So
I
that's
honestly,
like,
I will say since about mid 2024, I've kind of been on the 2027 mindset.
So
I'm
for this
pretty sure
game.
you said 2030 at one point, and I'm like, nah, you're too
So-
deep into this.
for me personally, in my mind, just because of, again, like, yes, we got the new screenshots, but even then, we still don't know a ton about what stage the game is at in terms of development.
We don't. We can
yeah.
compare
So-
to the Kingdom Hearts 3 screenshots and the timeline of events.
Yes, but again, I think for me personally, I'm going to stick with thinking 2026 until
Until it's
we have more
2027.
information.
I
Basically,
think, 20,
No,
I
but
think
yeah.
2026 is a possibility. I'm just saying 2027 feels like it's also a possibility.
Yeah, I am definitely sitting here going like mid 2026 is where I'm gonna put my copium stake at. 2027, okay, that makes also just as much sense. Like I'm
I
not,
think-
yeah,
I think mid 2026 at the earliest, early
Yeah.
2027 at the latest.
yeah. I
That's
am not remotely expecting it this year. Not even remotely.
No,
No.
I don't think we're getting
Yeah.
really much more on this game this year, honestly. I think we might maybe get a
Yeah.
trailer towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
but
it's
I would
they
like
could always
something.
do curveball.
They could
We
put some
might get a
curveball.
trailer
Remember,
towards
we
the
didn't
end of the
know
year.
anything. Like,
But I expect
just real
full
quick,
marketing to start in 2026.
Mhm.
just like think about it this way, because recently we had the release of Oblivion, and if you weren't savvy to the leaks and everything, you wouldn't have known that it was out or that it was a game until it dropped.
I think
So,
the difference. That was
we
the
could
worst
just-
step
Well,
Should
until
they
like a
could
day
decide.
before when they
It would be
tweeted it.
really
but-
ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
also don't really think they could, just shadow drop a Kingdom Hearts game. I just
No.
don't.
They could shadow
Yeah.
drop
Shadow
the
dropped
trailer.
Oblivion,
They've
for
done it.
Christ's sake.
Yeah, they could.
Well,
shadow
Oblivion
drop-
is a remake. It's not a new game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
they're
they
not going to
cannot-
shadow drop Elder Scrolls 6.
They can't just shadow drop Kingdom Hearts 4, but
That'd be funny if they did, though.
it's just like, oh yeah, it's out.
Imagine how freaking hard the fandom would explode.
Hey, by the
Imagine
way,
if the next update that we get is like, hey, it's on shelves right now. Go play it.
here's a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. Shit's out.
By the way, it's
That'd
out
be
already.
insane.
No pre-order required. Go get it.
It's been
Yeah,
out for like a week.
Go
We
get the
just
game,
haven't
boy.
told
Go get the
nobody.
game.
That'd be wild. We just didn't tell anybody.
No
So,
more wakes up in a cold sweat. Fuck, I forgot to tell people.
Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything within.
And we've also been talking for 2 hours.
I know.
Well, we had two chunks
yeah.
of news. And
Yeah.
I had a gut feeling is like we should wait to do the podcast for a little bit before we go on the missing
Season-
link, and then
Season 2.
no sooner
12
than-
hours
Right.
later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
welcome to season 2 of the Guiding Keys podcast, everybody. We
We're-
want to start with a bang.
We're finally in the Kingdom Hearts news season. It has been 3 years, and we are in it. And I am just very happy to finally have stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yes. But yeah, put in the comments on what your opinions of these Heartless are. What's your opinion of Sora's necklace size here? Are you going to help me defend Strelitzia to the death?
What is the phone? What is the phone? What are the magic missiles?
Yeah.
Where-
We are left with more questions than we had beforehand, and by God, I am here for it. Will Mickey be able to find a book he can read, because those bookshelves are way too tall for him to be able to reach?
He needs a ladder.
What are the Fist Heartless called?
No, we got that already.
Oh,
Your name doesn't
Fisters.
count.
Imagine if they are called Fisters.
If they are, I am going to ride that high from now into eternity.
I don't like that we have the word fister and ride in the same sentence, Clark.
I'm gonna ride those fisters
Well,
to
anyway,
eternity.
He's into it.
This has been an episode of the Guiding Keys podcast of all time.
Yes,
This has
yes.
been an episode of all time for sure.
Thank you all for
We
watching.
got it. We got it all.
Listen,
We got it
listening.
all here. Thank you.
May your heart be your guiding key. Until next time, we finally have some news, people. It's time to get excited. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Dun da da dun! Hi there! It's your trusty Chirithy, here to remind you to like, comment, and share this podcast with all your friends. Please remember to subscribe to the Keyblade Forge, join the Discord server, and visit the merch store at www.keybladeforge.com. Don't forget, your friends are your power, so make sure to pass this along. Until next time, may your heart be your guiding key.